Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Charlie's Reviews. It's been quite a while since I've done this. I think it's been like maybe 2 months since my last review video. So, as you know, I've been away for a month. I've been showing up, the books that I've gotten, but I haven't really done some reviews, and I will be reviewing the books that came out last week, which I got yesterday, Monday, um, and very good week for me, I guess, for books. It's five. I actually was going to get four books, the four books I usually get, but I decided to try something new. So let's get on to the review. So first up, Superman number 39, which is the epilogue of the Jeff Johns story arc. This is his last issue. John Romita, of course, and the art. He'll be continuing come June. So we're still like one more issue that's supposed to be an all Ramita issue. So I don't even know when that's coming out. This book's been coming out rather late. So of all the books, that usually came out, they were doing really great on getting the books out, but then Jeff Johns took over. The book's been kind of late. So, anyways, this book is the aftermath of issue 38. So Superman is for one day human. Of course, that's the issue ended with him revealing, that Clark Kent is Superman. Um, so pretty much they spend the day together, talking. Nothing really exciting happens in this issue, but as is typical of Jeff Johns, he actually does show that there's more to Superman than his powers. When a mugger is threatening to kill a man, Superman shows up, without his powers, and it shows that Superman isn't really defined by his powers, but he he's sense his sense of duty to help others. So he talks down the mugger, pretty much. So, like I said, not a very exciting issue if you want big action. It was more about talking. Uh, so, but no, it was an enjoyable issue. Next up, Supergirl number 40, the last issue for this volume of Supergirl. But it's not really the end. It ends the Crucible story arc. We in issue 39 they learned that one of the people running the school actually plotted uh, against it, trying to destroy the school, sort of to serve his own purpose. You know, Crucible was supposed to be a school that would, train young uh, people with special abilities to protect their planets, and this other fellow wanted uh, to actually make an army out of them, sort of, forcefully bring order to the universe. Now, especially now that there isn't really a Green Lantern Corps to watch over. Uh, they're defeated, they, Supergirl and her team defeats, the bad guys, and it's back to Earth. And finally with this story arc, we get the Supergirl we all deserve. Like, that's the best way to put it. She's happy now. She isn't angsty. She's got more control over her powers. She's accepted Earth as her home. It's all nice, except that this being the last issue, we actually end up getting a cliffhanger, and that's Supergirl losing her powers. We're left with what happened, you know. So there's definitely more coming up sometime soon, I hope, where this thread will be picked up. Yeah, because the last time a Supergirl book ended with a cliffhanger, that was way back in the 80s with the 80s Supergirl series, which ended in issue number 23. It actually ended in a cliffhanger that was supposed to be followed up. Um, that's, that was supposed to be followed up in a book that never really came out, and then she died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So hopefully this time, this thread will be picked up soon, and we might get a new Supergirl book as well, which they're sort of hinting at, that this is the end, but not really. Um, so there's more to come, I guess, like I'm saying, and of course there's the TV show. So DC really can't have be too long without a Supergirl book. But in the end, I really like this little arc. Um, it definitely helped Supergirl a lot. I mean, she's been sort of, for a lot of people, she's been like, yeah. But I think from this point on, in the next series, they follow up on all of this, and we get a much better Supergirl book. That everyone can enjoy. I enjoyed this series in general, um, and yeah. Okay, Teen Titans number 8. So this story, this issue actually just focuses on, as you can see, about fame, about the celebrity status that the Titans now have, after saving all of New York from being destroyed. Um, so we see Beast Boy and Bunker hanging out in a stand-in for SNL, Saturday Night Live, their version of it. Raven with that tribute band, she's hanging out with that tribute band for her, and and Wonder Girl with the with her followers, little groupie group, or whatever. Um, the only one who isn't really enjoying himself is Red Robin, who last issue, I think even back to issue 6, there was a mention that there's this like the, sort of the most deadly weapon in the world had been created, and the machine that they used last issue was like the second worst. So Red Rabbit wants to find out what this first doomsday machine is. Manchester Black tells him it's just a rumor, and but Red Raven doesn't really believe it's not real. If it was being mentioned, if there was something worse out there. Of course, it ends though with the return of Superboy, who actually shows up, here, um, as well, but actually ends up at to set up the next story arc featuring Superboy, which starts next week with the annual. So I'm still enjoying this take because I think it's you know what if superheroes were celebrities, especially the young heroes. A nice reflection of our current society. I'm really enjoying it. Uh, then we got Buffy season 10, issue number 13. Uh, this ends the three-part story called Love Dares You. Yeah, Love Dares You. And so last issue number 12, ended with Spike apparently going back on a killing spree despite the fact that he's got a soul. So this issue he wants to find out what's happening. At the same time, again last issue, Andrew finally finds out he's gay, and that freaked him out. So Xander goes to visit um, Andrew and brings Buffy along because at the same time, Spike didn't really want Buffy to find out what was going on until he was much more certain about it. Um, and that's pretty much it. This story really, put a few complications, but it basically just followed up on all of these relationships that these characters have. So it was an enjoyable issue as always, and can't wait for more to see more. So the new book I decided to try out is from Image. This is pretty much my first Image book, and it's a red one, number one. I actually heard Travis Oddfellows talk about it in uh, comic book roundtable. So I kind of got curious. The fact that I was like a few days late. When the new books arrived, I didn't think I would find much, but the shops really stepped up. Stocking up on all of these Image books and some other indie titles that are like I said, the time I talked about Lady Killer, at first, that title wasn't really, you know, being ordered by the shop. Just a couple of issues. Now they got quite a bit of that. Of course, they got a lot of, when the shop, under orders. Even if I go, uh, you know, on the day that books come out, a few hours after, because they usually come out late on Wednesday, late Wednesday afternoon in the evening. If they shop under orders, I missed good stuff. I decided to see if this issue was around. They got quite a few of them, a few of the new Image books that came out. So I thought I would give this a try. I enjoyed the book. Um, it's very wordy, and Travis actually mentioned the changing, size of the lettering, of the fonts. I gotta say, I mean, this book is like crammed with panels, and you got some really tiny panels, so I can understand that at times they really want to fit all the words, like these little tiny panels here. Um, but I don't know. Um, it does give it a sort of inconsistency to it. I'm not even sure if it's sort of supposed to reflect certain states of mind as well. Uh, Even the little arrows in the balloons are different as well. Um, so I don't know if it's also part of creating a setting for the book, which this book, of course, is about uh, takes place during the Cold War back in 1977, 2 years before I was born. Uh, and so we meet this girl who is a Russian agent, uh, a top-notch soldier who has been tasked to become a superhero for America. As it turns out, there's this conservative group that's going sort of gaining certain uh, gaining followers, growing as a movement. And their main representative is, well, I hope this woman here. She's sort of leading this group, and it's gaining certain strength. She's also running for office, so she might have a lot of influence in policy making that the Russians don't like, because it might escalate the Cold War, and they don't want that. And then there's like this other guy, this mystery guy here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to see where right here, that guy that's jumping. Yeah. Who is a sort of vigilante that people are calling the Carpenter. So every time this guy shows up, this woman's movement seems to have more people following her. They don't want that. So instead of, and it's actually implied in the book that maybe this woman should be assassinated, taken care of in a much more permanent way. Uh, the Russians say, no, we don't want to make her a martyr, but we would like you to become this sort of superhero that would counteract this guy, the Carpenter, as people call him. She's not very thrilled about it, uh, but orders are orders, so she takes it, uh, and so that's pretty much the main setting. We end with her getting, her I guess say costume or uniform, but besides the plot points, it's a lot of setup. We get to know this character really well. Um, uh, so we take a few. It takes place both in LA. Then we have spent a huge amount of time in Russia, getting to know this woman, which I think it's called. Oh, I forgot her name. Well, we get to know her a little bit, but we get to know her quite well. Uh, then we spend time when she arrives to the United States until the point where she actually gets her equipment. Um, I really like this issue. I might pick up issue number two. It didn't really wow me like say Lady Killer, that that book wowed me, but not this one as much. But it sounds interesting. It's a very interesting premise. Like they put at the back. Here. What happens when America's greatest superhero is a Russian spy? So that's an interesting premise in the whole. You know, the very comic book cliche superheroes, but with a twist. So yeah, and I'm a huge fan of The Americans. I love that show. Uh, and so this really does feel my like a book I would definitely be interested in. Like I said, you know, glad I'm actually glad to have tried this out. I'm repeating myself, so that means I have to go. So until next time, keep smiling.